Mr. Master of Ceremony, let me assure you of two things. Dr. Chang has protocol, and I am not the Pope. I was just about to say, the Honorable Horace Chang, Minister without protocol, but well, let me just get it right. My friend, the President of the Republic of Montego Bay, the Honorable Horace Chang, Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Mrs. Marlene Malahoo Fort, Attorney General and Member of Parliament for St. James, West Central, other members of Parliament who may be here, His Worship the Mayor, Councillor Homer Davis, Mayor of Montego Bay, the Honorable Ewan Corodos, Custos of St. James, Dr. Conrad Curlew, Managing Director, Gwest Corporation Limited, Mr. Carl Townsend, Chief Country Officer, Capital Markets of JMMB Group. That's the title. It's a big title. The Board of Directors and other members of staff of Gwest Corporation Limited, Pastor William Curlew, retired pastor of the Maranatha Seventh-day Adventist Church, other members of the clergy, members of the Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce, heads of agencies and departments, members of the private sector, members of the medical fraternity, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is truly a good afternoon. And it is my pleasure to be with you in Montego Bay. Indeed, I'm here quite often because great things are happening in Montego Bay. Would you agree with me? And I will be back here again later this month as we continue to cement Jamaica as a global conference destination when we host the Global Conference on Sustainable Tourism from November 27th to 29th. That conference will focus on a larger scale what Gwest is in fact showcasing here today, bringing ideas and capital together to create a valuable offering which will stimulate economic growth, job creation, and profitability. Let me extend congratulations to the management and staff of the Gwest Center, particularly to the founders, Dr. Conrad Curlew, Dr. Ladi Dunkwa, Mr. Wayne Gentles, Mrs. Elva Williams Richards, and Mr. Dennis Samuels, and Mrs. Denise Crichton Samuels for their confidence in confirming Jamaica as the place of choice for successful business endeavors. I congratulate all who were involved, who played a role. I note NCB Capital Markets, JMMB, and our own JAMPRO, who played integral roles in making this venture a reality. I know that it took a lot of focus, ingenuity, and optimism to realize this goal today. And I congratulate you all for your effort. The Gwest property represents another major investment in real estate development and in the provision of medical services in Montego Bay. We know that Montego Bay is one of the fastest growing cities in the Caribbean. Its development is therefore of critical importance to the government's growth strategy. We are positioning this western city as a major center for business, and investments such as Gwest reflects the type of needed businesses in the city and the commitment that will ensure that Montego Bay is a major hub of commerce in the Caribbean. The development of 62,000 square feet of multi-purpose space will offer the wide range of medical services necessary to place Montego Bay as the premier medical services destination, not just in Jamaica, but in the English-speaking Caribbean. The first phase of the operation includes a general practice and consultation office, an urgent care center, and a clinical laboratory. The second phase will include a modern outpatient surgery center and an 8-bed inpatient center. Gwest Center also houses other privately owned medical facilities, such as Zierlich International Dialysis Center, Heart Smart Center, Radiology West, Facial and Oral Surgical Associates, North Coast Imaging, Peak Dental, WJOS Medical Center, a 24-hour drive-through pharmacy, and other medical specialties. In short, this is a shopping mall for medical services. It is a patient-centric, all-inclusive offering in a quality, internationally accredited environment right at home in Jamaica. In addition to the local persons being targeted, the global growth in the flow of patients, health professionals, and medical technology across national borders has made medical tourism a thriving sector. Jamaica is ideally poised for this growing market, which was valued at approximately US $20 billion in 2016, and is estimated to reach approximately US $47 billion by 2021. Jamaica's advantages include the availability of quality medical professionals, the island's strategic location, increasing diagnostic facilities, and importantly, government support to facilitate growth in this market. Jamaica must continue to diversify and expand our tourism product in order to meet emerging market demands. Travelers are more discerning, and in some cases, due to aging and complex health conditions, availability of world-class health facilities is considered when making decisions to travel for vacation, business, or to return home. Of course, we cannot ignore the reality that crime is also a serious consideration and indeed an impediment to business growth in Jamaica. The business community in Montego Bay is especially sensitive to this reality, and I stuck this in here because I wanted to say to the business people who are here that I listen to the radio, I hear your cries, and I get all the messages that are sent through various channels about your concern regarding crime in your wonderful city. I take them seriously, and we are doing all that we can and more to ensure that we bring this situation under control very quickly. With continued commitment and partnership with the people, the business community, and other stakeholders in Montego Bay, we are serious about effecting sustainable, positive transformation. Earlier this week, with unwavering support in Parliament, we were able to secure the extension of the Mount Salem zone of special operations for a further 60 days. And this will give more space to our law enforcement teams to continue their security work and for the Social Intervention Committee to actually start the social intervention projects that will see to a long-lasting, sustained peace in those areas where the zones are implemented. As we seek to improve on what exists, we acknowledge the need for partnership, and I am happy to note that Gwest is participating in the Adopt a Clinic initiative, adopting the Granville Medical Center, and I want to applaud you for that good corporate citizenship initiative. We applaud businesses for being responsible corporate entities, remaining cognizant that in order for businesses to thrive, an enabling environment must be in place, and one critical element in order to grow, one critical element in that enabling environment is financing. I am pleased to note that Gwest is not just intending, but has started the process of being listed in short order on the Junior Stock Exchange. I think that's a very good business decision. For entrepreneurs, raising capital, especially in an environment like Jamaica, is always a daunting task. And I thought, Dr. Curlew, that you were going to go into some of the details, because you said that at some times it felt like you were in a war. And I can just imagine how difficult it must have been to accomplish this in the current environment. It is something that the government is very sensitive to. And our policy of broadening financial access through a financial inclusion strategy to support businesses, to ensure that we are improving on the efficiency of the regulatory environment. I think we're gaining some successes. And I want to also thank your financing partners, NCB and NCB Capital Markets, for financing a project like this. I mean, too often we hear the criticism that our banks are only financing riskless investments. This certainly is not one of them. And it is also a vote of confidence in the economic direction, that banks are now willing to look at investments, calculate the risk, and absorb them in their portfolio and actually lend. And I think once we get more banks doing this, and I'm saying that the data is showing that loans for productive enterprises are increasing, not just for consumption, but for productive enterprises are increasing. That is a very good sign for growth. And so the providing the financing facility for this kind of investment, the government is very pleased, and we want to call out NCB and NCB Capital Markets for taking the risk and making the loan to make this possible. But after you have built a facility like this, it makes good business sense to seek to share the ownership, to disperse the ownership in the population. And the best route to achieve that is through the Junior Stock Exchange. And I would encourage all Jamaicans that when you do eventually list, I don't foresee any challenges in that. You have started off with very good people, very experienced people in JMMB, and you have a good mentor on your board, and you have taken on independent directors who understand the process of listing as well. So I'm expecting that you will be able to go through the regulatory processes very quickly, and I would encourage all Jamaicans to own a piece of Gwest through the stock market. the truth is that we took the administration of the government on the mantra of economic growth and job creation. The two things are not separate, they are related, but you know, it is not a complicated endeavor, but it is complex. So we are seeing excellent job creation data, but we are seeing growth that is not as strong as we would want it to be. And there are many reasons for that. It could just be the stage that we are in, that businesses that were started maybe a year or so ago, they're just coming to the point now where they're going to be employing people. So we're seeing a bump in employment. We need a new set of investments to start to take effect on the economy for us to see the growth numbers move. But I'm making the point that governments can't grow the economy. Governments create the environment for growth. Growth is really a function of the private sector. It is businesses that make the decision to invest and take risks, to put up, whether you call it the concrete or build the innovation in technology or start some new service. It is the private initiative that really drives economic growth. And the purpose of government is to create the environment in which private initiative can flourish. I think the government needs to do more. We are doing quite a bit, but we need to do more and do it very quickly so that more people in the private sector can say, you know what, I will take the risk and invest. And everywhere I go, I meet Jamaican entrepreneurs who are saying they want to invest, but for whether it is the permitting process, whether it is some regulations, whether it is something to do with custom, and of course, fears of security. So I want all our entrepreneurs here to be reassured that the government understands this very complicated, this very complex but not complicated dynamic of getting growth, and that we are committed to doing everything in our powers to make sure that we create an environment in which you can grow and thereby grow Jamaica. So whenever we see businesses opening and I am invited, I try my best to make an appearance, to associate with growth. Gwest is a part of the growth of the economy. And though I can't take credit for it, I certainly want to associate with it and use it as an example for other business people who may be thinking about it, to say, here is a perfect example as someone who has taken the risk, who is doing well, and has the full support of the administration, the government, to ensure that you are successful in your business. But you would understand if I made the other point, a very important point too, that more businesses like Gwest means more revenues for the government. I'm confident that Gwest, through this landmark facility, will be contributing significantly to building the Montego Bay community and the wider Jamaica. I am certainly proud of you and the team, and I wish you all the success. Thank you.